so it begins. The Son of the living God has come to Jerusalem. The Son of the living God has come to die. Isaiah, one of Israel's greatest prophets, foretold his birth when he said, "Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and he shall be called Emmanuel, God with us." But Isaiah also foresaw his death when he wrote, "But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed." With Isaiah's words ringing in his ears, Jesus rides into Jerusalem. There are people everywhere, lining the streets, standing on the top of buildings, calling out to him, "Welcome, Son of David! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord." They shout his name, throw their cloaks upon the road, wave branches in the air, and welcome him as their king, the Messiah. He is surrounded by hundreds, maybe thousands of people, a surging mass of humanity. And yet, with all those people around, he has never felt so alone. I often wonder about the angels, the countless angels who thronged the manger on a cold winter's night, dancing and shouting with joy, "Gloria in excelsis Deo," the angels who were witness to the miracle of the incarnation as God took on human flesh to live as one of us. Were those angels also lining the road that day as cloaks were thrown down upon the ground and palm branches were waved to welcome him? Did the angelic realm resound with the sound of singing and shouting, "Hosanna in the highest"? Or was the sound of weeping at what was to come heard? Did the same angels who saw Jesus take his first steps also come to watch him take his final steps? Were they there that day? Did Jesus see them? Jesus knew that everything he had taught, all the healings he had done, the demons he had exorcised, all the miracles that he had wrought, his entire life's work was prologue for what was to come, what he was about to do in death. And he knew for a long time. And as he stood with Moses and Elijah on the mountaintop, transfigured before the disciples, talking about a new exodus and looking toward the holy city of Jerusalem, he knew that when the end would come, Moses would not be there. Elijah would not be there. The disciples would not be there. He would face it alone. So his heart ached as he rode into Jerusalem that day. His heart ached for his disciples, for his mother, for his friends. He had come to terms with what he was about to go through a long time ago, but his heart ached for what they were about to go through. For he knew that the jubilant shouts of "Hosanna, Son of David," would soon be replaced with screams of "Crucify him, crucify him." And the sound of the donkey's hoofs on the pavement that carried him into the city in seeming triumph would soon be replaced by the horrible scraping of the heavy cross he would drag out of the city in shame. He had tried to tell them all, he had tried to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer. That was his fate. That was his purpose. But they would not listen. And as his disciples reveled in the adoration of the crowd, as they held their heads high to be part of Jesus' inner circle, as they smiled and waved at the people of Jerusalem who had lined the streets in welcome, Jesus realized just how truly alone he was, suffering in silence. You see, Isaiah saw it. Isaiah understood that Jesus would be the suffering, holy sacrifice. From the beginning of time, he was destined for these days, destined for this life, destined for this death. All Jesus' life's work pointed in one direction, to the cross. It was always going to end on the cross. And during Holy Week, we, Jesus' disciples, watch as the last days and moments of his life unfold almost as if it's in slow motion. As difficult as it is, we have to watch. We have to face what humanity has done, what we have done. For our hatred, our greed, our jealousy, our lust for power, and our hubris did this to Jesus. But out of his love, his compassion, his tenderness, and his mercy, Jesus carried all that, as well as all of our sins, to the cross. And Jesus suffered what we did to him. He suffered for us. And so it begins. The Son of the living God has come to Jerusalem. The Son of the living God has come to die. Let us wait, watch, and walk these final steps with him.